Welcome for today's webinar about how to file your taxes on taxx.lu. Let me present myself very quickly. My name is Patrick Malgi. I'm one of the founders of taxx.lu, a website that is online since 2018 now for 6 years. And the goal is basically to help everyone to file its taxes the most easiest way possible. We are quite many today, so there won't be a question and answer session. However, you can comment on the platform you are watching this webinar, and we will answer your questions in that comment section afterwards. And if you have more personal questions, you can also reach out to my team on help@taxx.lu. So what's on the menu today? We'll discover different deductions you can claim for in Luxembourg, and we'll also see where you can find the certificates you need to declare those deductions. And we will do a short tax return together on taxx, so you see how easy it is to do it on your own on our website. So what deductions can you apply on your tax return? Basically, there are three main categories. The first one is called special expenses. It's, for example, interests on private loans, insurance premiums, private pension plans, home savings plans, and donations. Another category is called allowances. There today we will see the cost of childcare and domestic help, but also very shortly extraordinary expenses. And if you are owning your own home, you can also claim some mortgage interests, and during the year of acquisition, you can claim notary fees and bank charges. So let's start with the first category. It's interest expenses on personal loans and insurance premiums. So for every deduction, basically, there's a maximum deductible limit. This maximum deductible limit is 672 euros per family member in your household for this category. So a couple with 2 kids, they can deduct a maximum of 2,688 euros in this category. So there are two main categories here. On one hand, you have interest expenses on loans. So consumer loans, for example, if you have a loan for your car, you can deduct it in this category. But also credit card interests you may have, or overdraft fees on bank accounts. So if you don't have any money in a bank account and the bank is asking for some interests, those can also be deducted in this category. On the other hand, you have insurance premiums. The most common one is the civil liability insurance for your car, so the one that is mandatory to register a car here in Luxembourg. Those can be deducted, but also life insurance and private healthcare insurance that you can deduct in this category. For all those deductions, you always need some certificates. Basically, for insurances here in Luxembourg, the insurance companies, they will send you or have sent you a certificate for your tax return. Sometimes they are sending it on paper, or they will provide it to you on their website. So basically, for every insurance company in Luxembourg, you can log in there, and there you can also find a PDF documents with the needed certificates for your tax return. It's the same for the interest on personal loans. So the Luxembourg banks will send you on paper or will put on their web banking documents you need to ask for those deductions on your tax return. If you don't have gotten them, don't hesitate to contact your bank or your insurance company so they can send those to you. taxx.lu is partnered with Lalux. Lalux, it's Luxembourg's oldest insurance company, and they are providing different insurances that you can deduct on the tax return. So I wanted to present you two of them very quickly. One is called Lalux Education, which basically is a life insurance that covers your children. The goal is to save up to prepare their university. So basically you can invest into that plan 50, 100 euros per month, and at age 18 or 19, your child will receive money that could help him for university. And if one or the two of the parents would die before the children are going to university, in that case, the kids would receive a lump sum that could help them to have the money to continue their lives. Another product of Lalux Group is DKV Luxembourg with their product Easy Health. Basically, is a private healthcare insurance. Healthcare in Luxembourg, the public system is quite good, but it does not cover 100% of your medical expenses. So this type of insurance, it covers basically everything that CNS is not covering 100%, but it also covers glasses, contact lenses, hospital stays, dental treatment, physiotherapy, osteopathy, and much more. You have, for example, as well, special insurances if you are traveling and if you have an accident there and you would need to go to see a doctor or go to the hospital. And even you can benefit from some coverage to get back to Luxembourg in that case. So you can always contact our team at taxx if you want to have more information about those insurances with Lalux. We can give you, on one hand, more explanations about the coverage of those insurances, but also about how much taxes you could save in your personal situation. And we can sign up those contracts for you. Another category of deduction is the home savings plan. A home savings plan allows you to deduct a maximum of 672 euros per family member living in your household. And if the parents are younger than 41 years, this amount will be doubled. So a couple with a father 40 years, a mother 38, and 2 kids can deduct a maximum of 5,376 euros in taxes. A home savings plan, basically, it's kind of a savings account where you can put money on, deduct it on tax return, and after 10 years you can access that money. And after 10 years, you have to, when you are accessing that money, you have to use it for your own home. So you can use it for to buy a new home. You can use it for some renovation, or you can also use it for mortgage redemption if in 10 years you still have a mortgage running. In Luxembourg, there are 3 home savings banks. There's Schwäbisch Hall, Wüstenrot, and BHW, and the 3 of them are sending you a tax certificate, normally end of January, start of February, with all the information you need to prepare your tax return. So normally they will provide it to you on paper. If you haven't gotten anything, then contact them and they will send it to you by post. Another deduction is the private pension plan. Basically, for private pension plan, you can deduct a maximum of 3,200 euros per person. So a couple with 2 kids, they can deduct 2 times 3,200 euros because the kids are not involved in this maximum ceiling. So it's basically 3,200 euros per adult in that family that can be deducted. Private pension plan has to last at least for 10 years. The minimum duration for such contract is 10 years to deduct them on the tax return. And you can access the capital at earliest at age 60 because basically the goal is to save up for pension age. What certificates do you need? But basically, there are all the insurance companies in Luxembourg are providing you, can provide you with those private pension plans, but also most of the Luxembourg banks, and they will send you a paper certificate, or you can access those certificates as well on their websites or on the web banking. You can download PDF and add it to your tax return. Lalux is, of course, also providing private pension plans, and they have one private pension plan that is particularly interesting. Basically, they give you the choice out of 11 different investment funds. You can choose up to 4 of those funds, meaning that every month, 25% of your investment will be done in one of those funds. And there are some funds that have very good, very interesting performance. For example, my favorite, Uni-Nachhaltig Aktien Global, which had an annual average return on invest over the last 10 years of 9.41%, which is quite a lot more than on a savings account. If you want to have more information about this, you can reach out to my team and we will set up a call and we can discuss, on one hand, how much taxes you could save thanks to this private pension plan, and on the other hand, also see how much, what makes sense in your personal situation. Then another possible deduction are donations. So if you are making donations to recognized non-profit organizations, those are deductible. There's a minimum that you need to exceed. This minimum is 120 euros. So basically the sum of all your donations during tax year have to exceed 120 euros. So for example, if you would have done 3 donations of 50 euros each, 150 in total, you can deduct those 150 euros on your tax return. There's also a maximum, but the maximum is quite high. It's or 20% of your net income, or maximum 1 million euros a year. If you are donating to Luxembourg charity organizations, they will send you a few weeks after your donation a certificate with what you have invested, what you have donated to them. So just keep those certificates until you are doing your tax return, and then you can add them to your tax return and deduct it on your taxation. Then we have what is called frais de domesticité. Basically, here you can deduct the maximum of 5,400 euros per household. In some situations, you can deduct more, but it's quite complicated to explain this. So easiest way is to add all this information when you are doing your tax return on taxx, and the system will automatically check if a higher maximum deductible limit could be possible, and if so, we are claiming it for you. So in this category, you have 2 kinds of expenses. On one hand, you have cleaning expenses for your home, for example, cleaning stuff that you hired, or a cleaning company that is invoicing their services to you, can be deductible, or childcare expenses, for example, the crash, if you have fees for crash, or if you have fees for maison relais. So basically, it's what you need to pay if your children are staying after school. It's for free now in Luxembourg during the school season, but during holidays, it's still you need to pay something, and that one you can also deduct it on the Luxembourg tax return. What certificates do you need? But basically, if your children are in a crèche or maison relais, they will send you a certificate. If not, ask them to send you one, because it can make a huge difference on the taxes you have to pay. And if you hired, for example, a person to clean your home, then you will receive from CCSS. So basically, it's the Center for Social Contributions. You will receive a certificate that you can add to your tax return to deduct those expenses on your tax return. Then there are what is called extraordinary expenses. They are quite extraordinary. Basically, it could be non-reimbursed medical expenses. So if a CNS is not reimbursing you 100% and you have no private healthcare insurance, then you could claim those here. It's the same for expenses. For example, if you are sending money to your family living in another country and you have to send this money because your parents, they don't have a pension, for example, then you could also deduct those here. Other possible deduction are lawyer fees for if you are in court, or if you have divorce expenses. But it's important to know that there's a minimum amount that has to be exceeded in order to deduct those. And this minimum amount depends on your household composition and on your taxable income. It's quite complicated to calculate it. On taxx, basically, we are calculating this automatically based on your tax return. So you see the amount you have to be over, you have to exceed, and if you don't exceed that amount with your extraordinary expenses, it makes no sense to add them, because basically they won't be accepted. Then interests on mortgages. So for your main residency, you can deduct mortgage interests. There has been an update for the 2023 tax return, so the maximum ceilings are a little bit higher, and they will even be higher for the tax return 2024, so the one you are filing next year. Basically, the first 5 years you are living in your home, you can deduct the maximum of 3,000 euros per household member for your tax return 2023, and this one will be increased to 4,000 euros per family member in 2024. The next 5 years, you can deduct up to 2,250 euros per household member. And after 10 years, it will be 1,500 euros per household member. So those maximum deductible ceilings will be increased for the tax year 2024. It's at least what has told the government. The law is not yet voted, but I think that should be done in the next months. So, for example, a family that moved into their home in 2020, they can deduct, if they have 2 children, up to 12,000 euros in mortgage interests on their tax return. There as well for the interest you're paying on personal loans, your banks will send you a bank statement with what you have paid in interest for that tax year. And if they haven't sent you a paper, check on their web banking. You can normally find those in the category documents in the menu. There's normally a menu called documents where you can find those documents and download them as a PDF. If you are living abroad, or if you have any deduction that is not Luxembourgish, you can deduct those. However, you also need certificates. So don't add entire contracts from an insurance you may have in France or Germany. Ask your insurance company or your bank to get a proper tax certificate. If you are telling them that it's for Luxembourg tax return, normally they know, at least if you're living behind the border, they know what you need, and they will send you the needed certificate. So don't add 20 or 30 pages of contracts you have signed 10 years ago for an insurance. They won't be accepted because basically it's not a certificate that you have paid for those insurances during tax year. So how to file your tax return? But one possibility could be to complete the 20-page PDF tax form, which is quite complicated. That's one option you may have. A more easy one would be to file your taxes on taxx.lu. So as I mentioned, we are online since 2018. We helped a lot of people with their tax return. And the goal was since the beginning to get this thing done in the most easy way. So let's do together a tax return on taxx. So to open up an account, you just need an email address, and you set up your account with a password, and then you will have different options. So if you are already a user of taxx and you have done the tax return last year, basically what you can do, you can copy your tax return from last year, and so you can start right away for the one of 2023. All the data that's normally not changing will be copy pasted into the new tax return. So for example, your name, your address, your name of your kids, and all this stuff, you don't need to enter it again. If you haven't done the tax return up to now, you can also start an empty one here and just follow different steps you will see in a minute to do so. Or if last year you have done your tax return on the 20-page PDF, you can also import this tax return. So basically the PDF, and that's what we are doing right now. So here a tax return it's from 2020, but it's also working for 2021, 2022. So you're just importing that tax return, and the system will already start the 2023 tax return, and a lot of information that has been in that old tax return will be copy pasted into the new one. You see here different menus. So basically, those are all the menus we will go through today. And the list of forms will be more or less depending on your situation. So basically, on taxx, you only see the forms that are relevant to you in your family situation. You can see also that there are a few red dots here. Red dots means that there's something that does not seem correct on that form. So for example, here it says that the number does not seem to be a real tax administration number, because those numbers have special format, and this one does not seem to be correct. So you can correct it, and then this red dot will disappear. What you need to do on taxx is just by follow the steps. You just save and continue, and you will be guided through different forms. So here you can see personal data that has been imported from the PDF we have just seen, and also a few red dots. For example, the country of birth does not seem to be clear on the PDF that we uploaded, so you just confirm it. The same for your occupation. You have your address. If the address changed, of course, you can change it. You have your civil status and information about your partner. And we will just save and continue and arrive on what we call tax situation. So basically, tax situation is giving information about the situation of your family. So this family here, they have received a salary, they have children, and they are owning their own house and living in that house. If, for example, you bought or sold real estate during tax year, you just check those boxes and you will see additional forms here on the left in the menu. We will leave it like this, and we will arrive on what we call auto-scan. Auto-scan, basically, it's an automatic importer of your tax certificates. So basically, you can import your salary certificates or your insurance certificates. The system will recognize them and will extract automatically the data that is on those certificates. There are two options. One would be if you have the PDFs of those certificates on your computer, you just upload those PDFs here. So, for example, this is an annual salary certificate. We will upload mortgage interest at the Raiffeisen Bank, and we will upload a certificate from a French bank. So that's for all the certificates you have on your computer. If you have gotten certificates on paper, what you can do, you can just download our free taxx.lu scanner app in the App Store for iPhone, but also in Google Play Store for Android mobile phones. And then as soon as you're opening up this app, it asks you to scan a QR code. This QR code is the one in your tax return. Basically, it's needed to link the app to your tax return. So we will scan this, and then you have two possibilities. You can download or upload a PDF that is on your phone. So maybe in an app, in the web banking app, you downloaded a PDF certificate on your phone. You can upload that one, or you can just shoot a scan, basically a paper document, and that is what we are doing now. So you have a paper document, you are just holding the phone for a few seconds over that document, waiting a few seconds, and the document will be scanned. You are clicking on done, and then right away we can see here that there's a document that has arrived in your tax return. You can also see it here. So already the system is doing some recognizing of this document, and by saving, the system will try to recognize the type of the document, and if it's recognized, the system will as well import this information into your tax return. So we have different situations here. For example, we have import successful. So this means that the system recognized the document. So for example, that's the one we just scanned here that we got on paper from Schwäbisch Hall for our home savings plan. So the system recognized the type of the document, home savings plan, and it recognized also the amount that is needed or the information that is needed for your tax return. The same for the annual salary certificate. It has been imported, and it also recognized that there's a mortgage loan at the Raiffeisen Bank, and all the needed information has been extracted automatically. Some documents, and especially documents from abroad, won't be recognized because basically in those countries they don't have a very standardized certificate there. So the system will tell you that it was not recognized, and it tells you what to do now. So basically you just continue the process, and as soon as you see that in the process you see that you need to add an insurance, you are just adding that information manually on that form. We will continue. Next, we will arrive on the form salaries, and there we can see the annual salary certificate that we have uploaded, and we can see that all the needed information from that certificate have been imported automatically. Just check the amounts, and here it also tells us that there's one field missing. That's basically the municipality of your workplace. So by adding it, saving, this message will disappear. If you have questions when you are completing your tax return, you have different possibilities to get answers. One is we have on every form, you have this button, questions, and there you have a lot of questions that are all in our FAQ section. So you can find already an answer to your question very easily. Or what you can also do is we have a chat box here on the bottom right. You can just ask your questions to my team, and they will answer you right away. And even if you are asking questions in the evening, when my team is not available, they will answer you in the morning by email. So you can ask all those questions there. The same for a lot of sections. There are you can find those info boxes. So by hovering with your mouse over that info box, sometimes there's a screenshot with more explanations. Sometimes there's some text. So you can also find a solution if you have any questions. Save and continue. There we have the kits. Basically, they have been imported thanks to the PDF we imported at the beginning of the session. You have your main residency, the date occupied since, which is important to determine the amount of interest you can deduct, has been imported as well from the PDF, the old tax return you have imported. And you can see here, for example, the bank statement for this the mortgage loan with all the information that this already has been completed automatically by the system. You just follow the steps, check if on those different forms you have maybe something to deduct. Here we have, for example, the home savings plan that we have uploaded with the app, and also all the needed information is already in the system. So you can just save and continue. Here you have, for example, a domestic help, care and childcare fees. So if you have a certificate from a cleaning company or childcare, you can add it here. And then on the form other, you see a red dot. It tells us, okay, your bank account is missing. A bank account is important to get a tax reimbursement from tax administration, so don't forget to add it. And you have also this extraordinary expenses category, and as I mentioned, there is a minimum you have to exceed. The calculation for that minimum is quite complicated, so here the system is already calculating how much this minimum is in your personal situation. So if you have no extraordinary expenses that exceed 6,885 euros, then no need to add anything, because basically it won't be accepted. If you are above that amount, add it, and the difference between that minimum and the expenses you had will be deducted automatically by taxx. There's one last screen with all the attachments you have added. There you can also freely add whatever certificate you want to add to your tax return. And you will arrive on the what we call auto check. And basically auto check is a logical checkup of your tax return. So there you can find the red dots that you can still see here. So for example, your file number does not seem to be correct and the bank account is missing. Then the system will automatically calculate the tax refund you can get thanks to your tax return, or the taxes due, which is possible as well, of course. So you have already an idea about how much you can get back, and it's a lot easier to verify when you are getting back your tax assessment from tax administration if they have done the job right or not. So this up to here, it's for free, so you can do a free simulation to check if you can get the tax refund. And then in order to download the completed tax return, you have three possibilities. So first one we call it standard, for 59 euros. You have done your tax return already. Maybe you have asked some questions to my team, and then for 59 euros you can download your tax return, and also a second PDF with all your annexes. Basically, all the certificates you added to the tax return will be in one PDF, so you can upload it on my guichet or print it out and send it to tax administration. Then we have the package plus, which most of our users are opting for. Basically, it's your tax return, but before downloading it, our experts will verify if everything is correct in your tax return. And once you have gotten back the tax statement from tax administration, basically our team will kind of verify if that tax assessment is correct or not. And if not, we can help you to prepare a letter for reconsideration. And then we have the premium package for 149 euros. Basically, you have all this, and on top of that, you have a video call with one of our experts to discuss your situation. This is very often used by people where the family situation is changing, marriage, kids, and they want to have more information about what's the impact about this on their tax return. And if you want to, we can also print out everything for you, send it to you by post, so you can just sign it and send it to your tax office. Payment is done by a credit card, and the tax return will be available right after payment, at least for the standard. For the plus or the premium with the manual verification by my team, we can do so within 7 work days. After you have done your tax return, the system will also give you or present you your tax optimization options. So basically, the system will tell you how you could optimize your tax situation. So there is what we call an Opti score. The Opti score is going from 0 to 100. 100 meaning that you have reached all your maximum deductible limits, so there's no more tax optimization potential. 22 in this case means that you have quite huge potential to save on taxes in the future. You find there are short videos with more explanations about how to save on taxes. And you can also see for different categories of deductions how much taxes you could save in your personal situation. You can schedule a call with one of our tax optimization experts afterwards, or you can subscribe directly online to those products. For example, for the private pension plan, you can we can set up a contract for you with LaLux. We just need a few more informations, and then we can get this done for you. So basically, this is it. If you have any questions, so you can comment them on the platform you are, so on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. We will answer those questions there, so they will be available for everyone. And if you have more personal questions, you can reach my team on taxx by chat or on help@taxx.lu. On our website, we have also different simulators. So basically, you have different simulators. So for example, to find out what your tax office is, or if you want to calculate your Opti score based on an old tax return, you can do so. You have more information about tax optimization, and you have also a huge database of FAQs with hundreds of questions, where you can find answers to all your questions related to the Luxembourg tax return. Thanks a lot for your attention. I hope this was useful, and I wish you an excellent day. Thank you. Bye-bye.